Hey guys, Heather's here with Cincy Lit Sisters and Bookish in the 513, and this is my deeper dive into my January wrap up. Okay, the first book that I read in January was A Curse of Shadows and Ice by Katharina Mora. I gave this 4.5 stars. This is a standalone, although she's doing a series of different Disney retellings, but this is the first one, and I believe the only Beauty and the Beast retelling. This one was steamy, and I really liked it simply because it's an adult retelling. So the spice was there, but also because it gave us some details that, Disney movies just can't give you. So this was 4.5 stars for me. I enjoyed it. The next book that I read in January was Filthy Rich Fae by Geneva Lee. This I gave 4.5 stars. It is book 1 in the Filthy Rich Fae series, and it is not a completed series. I just need to tell you that ahead of time. This, like I said, was 4.5 stars. It's a modern day Fae dark mafia story that takes place in New Orleans. The spice was spicing in this one, ladies and gentlemen, if you know what I mean. It was. So if you like that dark romance, dark romantasy, this is your jam. The third book that I read in January was Filthy Rich Fae Fallen Court. This is the second book in the Filthy Rich Fae series. Again, I'm going to tell you this is not a completed series, so if you're one of those people that just doesn't want to get into a series that isn't completed, then don't go there. But if you don't mind waiting, check this one out. This had all of the supernatural in it. I was kind of surprised. I wasn't expecting that because it's Filthy Rich Fae, so I thought it was just going to be about the Fae. It was not. It had some witches, some wolves, some vampires. It had all the supernatural creatures. She rolled out the carpet for all of them. But if you like stories like that, check this one out. She's pretty good. The fourth book that I read in January was How to Break My Heart by Kat T. Mason. I gave this one 4.75 stars. It is book 1 in the Cinnamon Spring series, so it's not a completed series. But this was actually my first read by Kat, and it was cozy, and it also was it was steamy at the same time. It's an enemies to lovers, and it's between a small town cafe owner and her best friend's billionaire brother, and basically they have to come together and help plan her best friend's wedding. So good stuff. 4.7 stars. I'm definitely going to check out some more of her other things, so I'm sure you're going to see that this month or next month on our recaps. So the fifth book that I read in January, and my first 5-star read of the year, was Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is part of the first book in Say You'll Remember Me series. The second book comes out May 26th. Like I said, this was 5 stars for me. This book had me feeling all the emotions. I was laughing out loud. I was getting pissed off. I was crying at the end. But if you've ever read an Abby Jimenez story, you know that it's just part of the journey and why I absolutely love her so much. I've had this book since May of 2025, and I seriously don't know why I waited so long to pick it up. I think it's because I've read all of her other books, and so I knew that I could either reread one of her other books or I could dive into this one, but now I have to wait till May to get a new book from her. So yeah, check her out if you haven't read her. The sixth book that I read in January was The Girl I Was by Geneva Rose. I gave this 4.5 stars. I consider it a standalone. It is a standalone. I don't consider it. It is. I'm not gonna lie, guys. I was on the verge of DNFing this book. And that's only ever happened to me one time. Because if I'm gonna invest my time in a book to start it, I'm gonna plow through. I want to stick with it. But anyway, the book starts out with the main character losing her job. You quickly find out that she's very self-centered. She's a brat. She's it's everybody else's fault, not hers. she ends up getting into an argument that she picks with her boyfriend, and that ultimately that ends up with the end of their relationship. So she decides to go out and drink her sorrows away because, let's be mature about it. When she wakes up, she's gone back in time to when she was a freshman in college. She's still the 30-something-year-old woman, but she gets to meet her 18-year-old self. And I think at that point she realizes that if she's going to fix her future, she has to make some changes in her past. And so that's what the book is about. That's her journey back into time with her 18-year-old self to kind of fix these things. And I, at that point, when all of that started happening and I could see the growth and the change, that's when I started falling in love with this book. So I'm glad I stuck it out because, like I said, it was a 4.5-star read. But that kind of self-discovery, if you like those kinds of things, those kinds of books, check that one out. It's not Geneva Rose's typical book that she writes. She's normally a mystery thriller, so this was it was a little different, but I enjoyed it. It was good. Yeah. Okay, so number 7 for me was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. I gave this 5 stars. 5 stars all day long. It was also a January read for book club. So we enjoyed it. My sister and I both did. And it's on both of our recaps. So sorry you see this twice. But it's a historical fiction set in France, mostly Paris and the Parisian countryside during World War II. It's about 2 sisters and how each of them survived the Nazi invasion, but also how they rescued Allied forces and children from the Nazi invasion. It was a tearjerker for sure. I think what I liked most about it though was that, you're taught all the facts in high school, and in college. And so about the Nazi invasion, you don't really hear about the gray areas or the day-to-day life and troubles that they face, right? And the decisions that they had to make as people. So it was information before, and now you're seeing people and feeling emotions about it that you didn't necessarily have, at least not strong emotions before, because they were facts. A lot of people don't get emotional about facts, right? So anyway, this had so many details in it that weren't taught, and it offered so many different perspectives. It was told from one person's perspective, but the way it was told, the insight that this one person had and what she was seeing, gave us perspectives that you wouldn't necessarily get. So anyway, I could talk about this for hours. I could probably do a whole hour podcast just on this, right? But anyway, Chef's Kiss, 5-star read. Dare I say that this is probably one of the best books I've ever read in my life. Also, this is actually becoming a movie in March of 2026, I believe, or 2027. This is 2026. Catch up with the times, Heather. Anyway, I did find that out during book club. So if you like this historical fiction kind of stuff, or you like to read books before the movies come out, check this one out over the next year. It's a great read. 5-star all day long, every day. If I could make it a 6-star, I would, but I'm only allowed to give it 5 at the most. So, but I could make up my own rules, right? I probably could, but I'm not going to. Not right now. Anyway, after The Nightingale, I needed a palate cleanser just because, some heavy stuff, right? I went with Amy Dahl's 7-Year Itch. This was 4.75 stars for me. This is also book 2 of the Mountain Men Matchmaker series. It's not a completed set, but the final installment does release on May 26th. So if you haven't read Amy Dahl's, you need to. She will have you laughing out loud, and you're going to miss her characters when you're done reading. The spice is always spassin' here, too. It's always spassin'. So, I am just going to leave you with one of the quotes on the back of the book. Okay. And if it reads like an ad or like a, what's it called? Like a dating app advertisement, it's because it is. Okay. So it says, alone and looking to bone, loudmouthed mountain man seeks fiery woman to grow old with. I might look like a tall, tattooed, bearded Neanderthal, but like an onion, I have layers. Swipe right if you like a proud cat daddy who catches feelings after direct eye contact. So funny. Such a good book. Check it out. The next book that I read, which was the 9th book for January, was The Night We Lost Him by Laura Dave. I gave that 4.5 stars. It is a standalone, and I'll be honest, I stumbled upon this. I was actually looking to reread The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave, and I accidentally picked this one up, and I started reading, and I was like, this is not that book. But then I kept reading, and I'm glad I did, because it was good. It was pleasant. I was pleasantly surprised. Anyway, it's about a brother and a sister trying to figure out what really happened to their father after he died. Police report says that he fell from the cliff. A lot of things aren't adding up for the brother and sister, so they get more and more information, and they dig deeper and deeper into their father's death. They're slowly realizing that they didn't really know their dad that well. So anyway, it was a quick and easy read. It was only 8-hour audiobook, so if you're like me and you work through lunch, like, you could definitely listen to this book in one work day. So if you kind of like the mystery about, mystery books, this is probably one that you will enjoy. All right, I need a sip of water because I've been talking for a while. All right. The 10th book that I read in January was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. Yes, there's a theme this month. Apparently, I like authors with the name Geneva, and apparently I really like Geneva Rose. Anywho, this was another 5-star read for me. It is a standalone. I know there's a second book that came out. It's called The Perfect Divorce. However, it has nothing to do with this book, I don't think. I'm not 100% sure. But you have to start here anyway, so it doesn't hurt, right? Could you imagine being a top defense attorney and defending your husband who is accused of murdering his mistress? All I'm going to say is, well done, Geneva Rose. Well done. I totally did not see this ending coming. And I'm not going to lie, I keep telling everybody that, oh, I can see that coming. I totally saw that coming, but let's be honest, like, I'm really probably not that good at it. I don't think I am. At least this month I haven't been, because 2 out of all the books I read, I cannot see the ending coming. So, anywho, if you like the thriller mystery part, check it out. 100% check that out. Okay. The next book that I read in January was dun 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 Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover. This is another 5-star for me. It is a standalone. It is romance. I'm just going to start out by saying this actually is going to be a movie that comes out next month. So like the only reason why I picked this up is because I wanted to read the book before my sister and I have a girl night and go see the movie. But in true Colleen fashion, this book ripped my heart out, and she stomped on it and then she put it back in my chest. That's what she does. Yes, I ugly cried. Yes, my husband thought that something was seriously wrong. And yes, I'm still thinking about this book today. And I think about it multiple times a day. You just have to read it. You have to read it. Okay? 2 left, guys. Bear with me. We're almost there. The 12th book that I read in January was First Time Caller. I wanted a palate cleanser from the heaviness of Reminders of Him. First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I gave this 4 stars. It is the first book in a Heartstrings series. The second book comes out later this year. This book started out great. Okay, Lucy is our FMC, and she catches her 12-year-old on the phone with an older man at like it's a late night hour. Um, and we find out that her daughter called Heartstrings, and which is a radio talk show. And she's looking for a date for her mom. And the guy that Lucy, who is our FMC, she actually reams him a new what on air because she thinks that he's a pervert talking to her daughter. Anywho, I thought that was super cute. And then from there, it kind of took a little bit of a nosedive for me. I'm not going to lie. It was a little bit slow after that. And the reasons that they like weren't getting together just weren't valid for me. I'm like, no, because if you really wanted to be with her, and he and she really wanted to be with him, like they would try a little bit harder. So I don't know. It just wasn't my thing. And I love BK Borson. I seriously loved Good Spirits so much. I thought this was going to be great, but it just fell a little short for me. So I don't know. All right, and the last book that I read in January was Blackthorn by J.T. Geisinger. This one was actually on my sister's too. And she's the reason why I picked it up, if I'm being honest. This was a 5-star read for me. It is a standalone. I did find myself WTFing a lot in this book. So much so I was kind of worried for like my speech, because I really thought it was like the only thing that I could say. Like I wasn't capable of saying anything else. Anywho, this is like a gothic dark romance. The FMC is back in town for her grandmother's funeral, and her grandmother actually ends up disappearing from the funeral home halfway or before they have a chance to bury her, which kind of bizarre. But like all these bizarre things keep happening to the main character. Also, fun fact, the MMC in here is her baby daddy, who impregnated her when she was 17 and basically told her to get rid of the baby. And so she yeeted out of town and she kept the baby. And now she's back in town with the child. And the FMC and the MMC keep having these run-ins. We'll say run-ins, but they're pretty spicy run-ins. And all these things keep happening, and it's just everything. I finished this in 24 hours, guys. It was so good. Couldn't put it down. J.T. Geisinger is an amazing author. If you haven't read Pen Pal by her, you should do it. Pick up Blackthorn too. This has all the things. Check it out. Okay. So those were all of my books that I read in January. I thought they were pretty great. If you have any recommendations, by all means, send us a message. I'm always open to add to my TBR. Yeah. So everybody have a great week. Happy reading, and talk to you soon.